Nobody beats G.I.Joe.
But now Cobra's got the C-Ray.
C-Ray is a fighting machine. Out to blast Joe to smithereens.
Incredible C-Ray splits to become a mini-sub and an armored glider.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Today we're talking about scrap iron again. Well, the character I used as scrap iron anyway. Meet Slug. This figure was released in 1987 with all original body parts. Now, before we get started, I should mention, like I said in my last review, I never had a scrap iron toy as a kid, and I used this guy as a substitute. Does that mean I'm gonna go easy on this toy? Nope! Because, let's be fair here, he looks like an Aquaman villain. And there's nothing more lame than resembling somebody that would lose a fight to Aquaman. Yeah, this is definitely one of the goofier toys they came up with. It's not all bad though. I do like how his head has no less than 4 different colors, and they all go together. And he has an intricate paint application of a manta on his chest, though it does rub off a little too easy. But still, it's very nicely done. The detailing on this guy makes perfect sense, and no sense at all at the same time. He's an underwater guy, so he has these bulges on his lower legs and on a strap that seem to be weights for diving. But he doesn't come with a diving helmet or breathing apparatus or anything. Well, it's because he's a vehicle driver, so he himself shouldn't be in the water. But then, why the bulges? And if he's supposed to go in the water, then why does he have a normal-looking gun molded to his leg? His uniform, or diving suit, I guess, looks like it's very skin-tight. Hell, it looks like he's wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy sea slug. He only came with just one accessory, a gun. Though, I'll admit, it's pretty unique looking, so good job there. And that was the only toy Slug ever got. But because he was a vehicle driver, I get to talk about the toy he came packaged with. Meet the C-Ray, or Cobra C-Ray, depending on who you ask. I gotta say, this is a pretty damn neat vehicle. It reminds you of a manta ray, giving it that otherworldly kind of look. It is both a submarine and a flying machine. I feel like this is a Cobra answer to the Shark that came out years earlier. I like how the colors of the action figure mesh well with those of the vehicle, much better than some others, like, say, the Stun, for example, and the Motor Viper. The biggest feature that the C-Ray had was that it could split in two. It becomes a small sub and a large motorized hang glider. I prefer it as one piece though, and I'm too worried to pull it apart since it makes some disconcerting noises when I try. There's really only one small drawback to the toy: the missiles. They go great with the thing, but there's 8 of them, so if you try to find one on the secondary market, there's a good chance it's gonna be missing a few. Fortunately, there are plenty of missiles from other toys that are similar in color and fit on the pegs. And those were the toys. I really like the submarine, and despite some nitpicks, the figure is cool too. So now we come to the character. And straight off, he never appeared in the cartoons, and I couldn't find him in the comic, so there's nothing to say there. That just leaves us with the file card. Tendo K, I've avoided talking about this long enough. The name, Slug. Slug? Really? Frickin' really? Look, the name Cobra is pretty neat and threatening. You don't mess with a cobra. Or a viper. Hell, even a wild boar can mess you up pretty badly. Now behold the terrible creature this guy is named after. Tremble! Tremble, I say, at the horrible viciousness this visage conveys. Truly, it is like gazing upon great Cthulhu itself. Yeah, and that's just what the thing looks like. I mean, the name itself, it's a slug that lives in the sea. Yeah, it's up there with the ice cream soldier in terms of intimidating code names. And yes, that's actually a thing. Let's just move on from the name, shall we? Let's see, what's this guy's job? Sea Ray Navigator. The Navigator. Implying he isn't even the pilot of the vehicle he came with. There is, of course, no pilot, so this makes little sense. I mean, technically this thing needs 2 drivers when it's separated, but still, it needs 0 navigators. Ugh, just forget it. On to the file card text itself. Frickin' finally! Sea slugs are cobra eels who are chosen for specialist training. Thankfully, for once, it makes no mention of them being the best or something. A welcome change. They train on rivers, in the deep ocean, and finally in the Arctic. There's a 35% attrition rate during this last phase, and I like how ambiguously this is phrased. It's up to the reader to decide if they mean 35% of sea slugs drop out, or if they just straight up die in the Arctic. The rest of the file card just talks about how awesome the Sea Ray is. It's coated in a special rubber to fool sonar, and it creates noises that make it sound like a whale, making it safe from everybody except the Japanese, of course. And possibly Captain Kirk. And that was Sea Slug and the Sea Ray. It's a great vehicle and still a pretty cool figure. But that name, Sea Slug. I mean, what the hell were they thinking? And this isn't the only time we got some craptastic names. Hell, you know what? Next week, instead of a Q&A, I'm gonna run down the top 7 worst code names in the history of G.I. Joe. Well, see you next week, everybody.
Nobody beats G.I. Joe.
But now Cobra's got the Sea Ray.
Sea Ray is a fighting machine. Out to blast Joe to smithereens.
Incredible Sea Ray splits to become a mini-sub and an armored glider.